Trading futures and options on futures involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all traders and investors. Oftentimes in futures trading, you have a high combination of leverage and volatility. And although this could be an equation for opportunity, it's also an equation for risk. So be careful, only fund your futures trading account with risk capital. My personal definition of risk capital is money I could afford to lose, doesn't change my lifestyle, or overly stress me out. As human beings, we make bad decisions when we're under stress, so be in a good spot. Remember, micro contracts could be friends. Take it easy on the day trade margins. You get plenty of leverage without maxing out on those day trade margins on a regular basis. We'll be taking a look at a real-time simulated live NinjaTrader trading platform today, and none of this should be construed as trade or investment advice. Past performance not indicative of future results. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed. My name is Jim Cagnina with NinjaTrader. It's February 12th, 2024. Happy Monday after the Super Bowl. Appreciate everybody being here with me today. So we're going to kind of complete a series of NinjaTrader Platforms Unleashed that we started a couple of weeks ago. We started talking about the ATM strategy functionality, automated trade management strategy functionality on NinjaTrader. It's very powerful. There's a lot of stuff you could do with it. And then, as part of that whole ATM strategy process, we talked about order cancels other, or OCO orders. We talked about single target brackets. We talked about multi-target brackets. We talked about multi-target brackets with a break even that jumps. Now we're going to kind of complete the whole picture together, and we're going to come up with a strategy that's a multi-target bracket strategy with a trailing stop attached to it, right? So we're combining two things. We're combining the trailing stop functionality along with the bracket functionality in one trade. So let's get to it here. We're going to go ahead to the trading platform right now. And there's a couple of ways to actually initiate or set up this particular strategy. And one way is from the actual chart trader themselves. So I went up to the egg beater up in the upper top here, that little symbol that looks like an egg beater. And I selected chart trader on, right? I'm showing the chart trader, right? And then you'll see at the bottom here, there's a thing called ATM strategies, right? And this is where we could launch our ATM strategies from the chart themselves. There's a second way to do it. And that's using the trading ladder, the NinjaTrader SuperDOM, right? And you'll see the same box at the bottom of the NinjaTrader SuperDOM as you do that you see on the chart trader. And at the bottom, it says ATM strategy. And you see that none right there as well, right? And none doesn't look that inspiring, right? It seems like, well, there's just one little drop-down menu here at the bottom, but there's a lot of things you could do with it. So we'll use the trading ladder for today, just to give us a little bit more real estate on the chart. I'm going to go to chart trader and I'm going to go ahead and hide it, so we have more real estate in the chart. And we'll use the trading ladder for this demonstration. Now, I've picked the micro E-mini NASDAQ because this is a pretty volatile market. The prices move around a lot. And we'll have a better chance of the trade actually being demonstrated here in the middle of the day, right? Because it moves around a lot. So that's why I chose this. And when you set up these multi-target brackets and trailing stops, you got to keep that in mind. What kind of volatility is the market? How fast does it move? What's the average true range? What are the size of the recent candles and all of that stuff? Because your parameters are going to be different for each market, right? You might have different parameters for gold, as an example, than you do for a stock index future. You might have a different parameter for the micro E-mini S&P than you would for the NASDAQ. So we're going to use the micro NASDAQ for this example. And remember, the idea here is to teach the functionality. So don't randomly place trade file. Don't follow the leader here. These are just kind of demonstration trades. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go all the way down here and where it says ATM strategy. I'm going to hit the drop down menu, right? I don't want none. I want to create a strategy. So I'm going to click on custom, right? I'll click on custom. And you can see before I even click on custom, below the word none, there's a couple of other strategies we set up last week that I saved and named, and that's why they're still there. So I'm going to click on custom, and it's going to open up a dialog box. Let's put this off to the side here. Okay, custom strategies, right? So I already have my order quantity set at 3 because this is going to be a multi-target bracket, right? And then I'm going to do 3 1 lots, right? So I have target 1, I'm going to add target 2, and I'm going to add target 3 by clicking on the add button on the lower right hand side here. these fields will populate. Now, target 1 still has a 3 in it, so I got to make that a 1. I'm going to toggle it down to a 1. So target 1 is 1, target 2 is 1, target 3 is 1. Now, the first thing I got to decide is how far away do I want to put my original stop loss before the trail or anything happens. Where do I want to put the original stop loss? And again, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to set it at 60. And I'm going to set it at 60 for each contract, for each unit, right? So target 2 is going to be 60. Target 3 is going to be 60. And I know what you're thinking. Could you change, Jim, could you make it 60, 80, and 90 or something like that? And of course you can. But we're going to keep it simple. We'll keep it all 3 targets are going to have the same parameters for the stop loss. Not the case for the profit target. For the profit target here, I'm going to set my first profit target at 60. In other words, if we get that far, if we get 60 ticks from where I entered on the positive side, then it's going to go ahead and liquidate one of those positions, right? So then I would end up with 2 contracts left instead of 1. Now the second one, I'm going to a profit target. I'm going to put to 80, right? So hopefully the market continues to go our way. And then the third target, I'm going to put 100. Now you can see I have a pretty big distance between this for this multi-target bracket I'm setting up, and that's again for demonstration purposes. You could tighten it up for sure. And I recommend the first time you use these, the second time you use these, the third time you use these, practice in real life sim account mode, right? Just so you get used to it. Now, the second thing I have to do, since we're going to go ahead and we're going to trail these stop losses that we initially set, I'm going to click on this none button here under stop strategy for each target, 1, 2, and 3. I'll click on none. And again, I see custom. Now you see all the other stuff I had in here. I'm going to hit custom. And remember, last time we talked about break even. We're not going to do break even this time. We're going to do auto trail, right? Auto trail. This is the second option here. Not auto break even, but auto trail. I'm going to click on 1 step. And I'll tell you what steps are in a minute. But 1 step here is what we're going to do. And the step I want to create, the first thing you have to set up is, at what point do you want the auto trail to kick in, right? At what point do you want it to kick in? Well, this is profit trigger, right? So I want it to kick in. Remember, our parameters were 60, right, for the first bracket. And so for the first unit for the bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and put this profit target at 15, right? So if the market goes our way 15 ticks, that's going to start this trail. Right? But where do you want to start the trail at? I'm going to go to stop loss here and say, okay, where do I want to start this trail at? Well, I don't want to start it at 1 because it will literally, the definition here is it's how far behind the profit trigger do you want to start it? If I put it at 1, that means once I hit my profit trigger, if I just go down 1 tick, it's going to trigger the stop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it the same. I'm going to make it 15. So I'm going to make it the same so that when this trigger gets hit, right, and I'm 15 ticks my way in the trade, then my stop is going to jump. It's going to 1 step, 15 ticks below my profit trigger, which is in essence break even, right? This is how far below the profit trigger you want the stop to jump to the first time. And remember, the initial setting was 60, so it's going to jump up 60. Frequency now frequency is the other thing we have to think about. Frequency means as the trade goes your way, the stop is going to continue to trail tick for tick. I have frequency set at 1. If I had it set at 2, we would have to go up 2 ticks for the stop to jump. So we're going to leave it at 1, keep it really easy, and I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go back to my custom strategy parameter, and custom is activated. Right now, these are still none, right? Target 2 and target 3 are still none. So I'm going to do the same thing for those guys. I'm going to hit the custom, right? And again, I'm going to hit the 1 stop, and I'm going to set the profit trigger at 15 again, and the stop loss at 15. And I know what you're thinking. I could make these different numbers if I wanted to for the first unit and then the second unit. You can, but for simplicity of demonstration, I'm going to keep it 15, 15, 1. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go to the third unit. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hit custom, and I'm going to hit, again, 1, And then again, 15 and 15 for the profit trigger, and the stop loss will leave frequency at 1. Now I could save all this stuff as templates if I want, right, to make it easier and faster. I'm not going to do that in this case, but you can. Now I'm going to hit OK. All right. So, and again, you could save this as a template as well, right? Save as a template, and you could just name it whatever you'd like to name it. So I'm going to hit OK. We set this up. I'm happy. Remember, 60, 60, 60, 80, and then 60, 100. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going back to the trading ladder. Now, at the bottom of the trading ladder, you're going to see an I custom. This thing is ready to go. It's set up on the trading ladder. So if I wanted to just make a manual trade without this strategy, I can't do it until I toggle back to none down here. But we're going to keep it there with that I in the custom. Now, let's pick a direction. It looks like this market's trying to rally here. So I'm going to place an order. And once that order gets triggered, then the parameters will be triggered as well. So it could be a limit order, a market order, stop order. It doesn't matter. When you get filled here, make sure quantity at the bottom, lower right, 3 matches your strategy. I could make it a 6, a 9, a 12, but I'm going to keep it at a 3 because I have 3 different targets. So let's go ahead and throw an order in. And then hopefully we'll get filled here in a second. We could chase it, of course. I'll chase it and we'll get filled. Maybe. Come on, come on. See, this is the problem. Live demonstration. You never know what's going to happen. All right. So now we got filled, right? We got filled and our position is there. And you can see on the chart trader, it shows me where my targets are, right? I have my 3. Let me kind of move this down a little bit better so we can see it a little bit easier. I'll move this down a little bit. And so I have 3 targets. Remember, 60 ticks, 80 ticks, and 100 ticks above my entry price. And then I have my stop 60 below. Now, what we want to see here is we want to see 15 ticks worth of progress, right? Remember, our trigger is 15 ticks above our entry price. Our entry price is 0675. So let's see what we have to get to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to get to the top of the ladder, right? We got to get to the top of the ladder. That's 15 ticks for the stop, the trigger to kick in. And then our stop moves up to 15 ticks below, which is our entry price, 106.75. So we're going to be patient here and wait. Actually, we don't have to be that patient because we could just keep trying. So I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to hit close. And I'm just going to try to get a better fill. Oops. Well, that happened fast. So again, it went back in, same parameters. Everything is the same. And so really we need, again, 15 ticks up. I probably should have went short. By the way, you could do this on the long side or the short side. The instructions are the instructions, right? It's just math. There's nothing different there. So we need 15 ticks up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 107.25 is our trigger. So let's hang tight and see how that goes. And be patient. And you can see in this particular market, we talked about this last week. The micro NASDAQ bounces around a lot, right? It moves around a lot like popcorn. So you got to be careful when you're trading this market in general. Make sure that you recognize the fact that some of these candles have really big wicks above them and below them. And as a result, you could get stopped out. You could be directionally right and get stopped out and have a bad experience there. So keep that in mind when you're trading this particular market. And it's a micro, right? It's 1/10 the size of the classic contract. 1/10 the size. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit of motion up here. A little bit. It looks like just looking at the candles chart in the background there, this looks like we're in a bullish mode, right? I mean, there's a lot of green coming up. One red candle in the way there. But it looks like buyers are coming in. It's a low volume day, which is okay. So let's see, where do we need to get to now? We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So again, 107.25. So we'll be patient here for a couple of minutes. Pearson, appreciate your comment about changing to a dark background. I'm too old for about dark background. I apologize. You're gonna have to grin and bear the white one for now. Okay, so we're still not getting there. but we're going to be patient and we're going to wait. Another thing to point out here also, if you go down to the bottom of the trading ladder, you have this lightning bolt, or what is that? It looks like a lightning bolt or electricity thing. And you hover your mouse over it, it says active strategy, right? We have an active ATM strategy going on, right? So that kind of it'll help you remember that that's what's going on right now. Here now, again, we should have just probably, well, let's hit the close button. We'll try again. Again, I'm going to get a better fill. So I did it again. When I hit the close button, it cancels all the orders and starts again, right? That's kind of like a panic button. And again, I just did that to kind of see if we can get this trail to kind of demonstrate. And of course, we're selling off now toward my 62.5% harmonic retracement as well. Now, I get a lot of people ask, Jim, once this lightning bolt is there and you have this custom thing going, right? We have this, we've activated the strategy. Then could I move my targets and my stops, and will the instructions still apply? And the answer to that is yes. So you could move orders around, right, from the chart or from the trading ladder, and the instructions are still valid. So that's something to keep in mind. We should have done this from the sell side. I'm going to close again, and we'll try to get long again, a little bit lower here, give us a better fill. There we go. Now you see that bounce back up. We're pretty close to getting that 15 target. We just got it. You saw the stop jump to break even, and as a high watermark keeps happening, right? If we get stopped out, everything gets canceled, right? Which just happened. So the stop jump to break even, everything gets canceled again. Let's go ahead and try to put this in one more time and see if we can get the trail to actually kick in, right? We didn't make a high watermark that time, so the trail didn't kick in. So in other words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here's our trigger. And then if we start tracking up higher than the trigger, then the stop is going to go ahead and follow suit, right? Tick for tick, it's going to follow suit. Now, eventually, you're going to get stopped out in this but hopefully you catch a runner and you get to your profit target. Oh boy, I should just learn my lesson and do this as soon as I try to do this on the sell side, you know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. Another thing I could do, of course, to speed this demonstration up, so I'm going to open up a new trading ladder. And I'm going to put this to a side for a second. We'll cover this up for a second. We'll go long on one. Here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to go long on one and short on the other. And instead of the micro NASDAQ on this one, I'll just make it the regular NASDAQ, NQ. So it's the same market. And we'll do them both here, but I didn't save it, which is great, because now I can walk through again how to do it, which I'll be happy to do. So we're going to let this run. We'll go to none. I'm going to hit that custom. I'm going to go ahead and add a three target trade. And target 1 is a 1 lot, target 2, target 3. Stop loss is all at 60. 60, 60. Oopsie, that's a 2. Slow down, Jim. 60. Profit target 160. Profit target 280. Profit target 3 100. Now, let's set up our stops, right? Stop number 1, custom. And again, we're going to go 1 step, and we'll be 15, 15. And we're good. Custom. 1 step. 15, 15. Okay. And we'll do it again for the 3rd time. 1 step. And it's easy once you save the templates. You don't have to go through all this. I'm not going to use the word rigmarole, but stuff. Okay. So there we are. So we're going to reset again. So I'm going to close this thing. I'm going to close. So on the right-hand side, we'll go long. And the left-hand side will go short. Whoopsie. Got to make sure this is a 3, right? Go short. Oh, I got to select an account at the bottom. sim count number 1, go short. And one of these two should work. There we go. Okay, 15 up on the right-hand side. We're looking so far so good on the right-hand side. We'll see if we get a little bit more price action going. And then once we get to that that 15 level, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Then the trail should kick in one more tick after that. So 94.75 on the upside. I've got high hopes here. Let's do it. On the downside, though, we're going to be down toward the bottom of the ladder. The way I have my ladder adjusted in my screen resolution, it's about 30 ticks high to low. It's about 30 ticks high to low. Okay, now see how that just kind of moved real quick. Appreciate your patience, everybody. Kind of hang tight here. See if we could. Well, I'll tighten the parameters maybe in a second if we don't get a little bit more action here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 88.75 on the bottom. Pretty, the problem with doing these in the middle of the day, 12 o'clock, you have that volume kind of slow down, right? It's lunchtime. Tom Schneider talks about the volume smile, where it's like a smile where at the beginning of the day you have a lot of volume on the histogram bars. Middle of the day it kind of slopes downward, and then toward the end of the day it slopes back upward for the close. That's called the volume smile, and so you get a lot more volume, a lot more volatility usually associated with that volume and price action at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day. Let's just see. We'll keep patient here, and we could do it even another market if we wanted to do another. Oh, there we go. So stop just moved. Now, oopsie, stop continue to move from our entry price. Here was our entry price. Our stop continue to move from our entry price, and it's following as we go lower and lower. Every time we make a low watermark, that stop will continue to trail, right? So it's a trailing stop. So what's going to happen? Well, either the volatility stops us out. Now it'll be actually a profitable trade because we entered short way up here, right? You can see the P&L moving down here in the middle, or we could hit our original target, which was 60 handles away. So you could keep hearing that thing move. I don't know if you hear the jingle in my head, but I have an alert that every time my stop moves, oops, there we go. See, it's following down. So we're trailing down nicely. We got one of the units, and then our second, our stop went from a 3-lot to a 2-lot. Keep an eye on the left. Keep an eye on the left-hand side. And now we got stopped out of the 2-lot, right? So we got stopped out of the 2-lot, but 1 lot was profitable, right? And then the other 2, well, they all were actually, but we actually achieved one of the profit targets, and there's nothing working left on the NASDAQ side of things. On the other side, well, the opposite happened, of course, and went the other way. But again, for demonstration purposes, we did it that way. All right, so that's how that works. Now, remember, custom is still set at the bottom of these trading ladders. If you want to make a manual trade, you can't until you hit that download. I mean, you could make a manual trade, but let's go ahead and just throw another order in. Just let me show you. I'm going to take off auto center. I'm going to go find my stop up here. Now I could move this too. That's the other thing I want to demonstrate, right? 2 things. One, you see that this bar goes all the way across the trading, the trading dome, the SuperDOM. That's going to tell you, hey guys, this is an ATM. This is an automated trade management strategy on there. So just like having the lightning bolt at the bottom, that's how you know, because you put a manual stop loss in, it's going to be a partial red bar, not a total red bar. Now I could kind of move this. I could manually move it, and my instructions are still valid, right? I could just keep moving it, and my instructions are still valid. Same thing with the profit target, right? I can go all the way down to profit target. And this is easier to do on a chart trader. I could move it. I could cancel and replace that target, and the instructions for the whole trade are still valid, right? They're still valid. Okay, so let's see, let's center this thing. And there you have it. I moved it down. We're tighter. Play around with your parameters. Let's do one more market. Do we have time for one more market? We do. Let's do one more market. I'm going to close this up. We'll just cancel this, close that, cancel this, and then make sure we're flat, hit that C. And now let's go ahead and go to another market. So you can kind of see the difference, right? Let's go ahead and, I don't know, let's pick the E-mini S&P, right? E-mini S&P is a good one. Different chart, looking like a sell-off's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and make a different, I'm going to hit none. And then I'm going to hit custom again. I'm going to create a brand new one for this market. Now, remember, this is a different market. It's not going to move the same way. So I'm going to think about that. And I'm going to say, you know what? Let's do that 3-unit trade again. We'll do 3 units again. And we're going to add it. We're going to add it, right? Target one is going to be a 1. And in this case, let's make the stop loss 10. Profit target 10. Stop loss 10. Profit target 12, spot loss 10, profit target 12, right? So I have that parameter. Now, the next thing I have to do, stop strategy, right? So think of, before I click on that, let's think about how far we want the market to go to our direction before we break even and start the trail. Well, let's just pick 5 as an example, right? We'll pick 5 and we'll keep them all the same, even though you could change them differently. Stop 1, profit trigger 5, and stop, I'm going to put 4. Right? Stop, I'm going to put 4. Remember, it's a $12.50 tick. So I want this thing to jump up 1 tick above my true break even. I'll keep frequency there. So 451. Go real quick here. Custom, 1 step, 451. Hit OK. Let's do it again here. Custom, step, 4, 5, 1. And don't get overly complicated, especially if you're brand new to this. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. Okay, I'm all set and ready to go. Bottom, it says custom. I have sim account number 1 on there. This market's breaking down, so I'm going to try to get short, and it's going to put it in. So, oops, I made a mistake. Look at that. I made a mistake. Let's go back to, well, let's let this play out. I set this target the same. I wanted to set this target a little bit further, but that's okay. It's okay because this is still valid. Everything is still valid here. I can move this down. So instead of a 3-unit with 3 different prices, it's a 3-unit with 2 of the unit prices the same. Let's recalibrate just so we're, we'll leave it. We'll let it go. Again, I could tighten my stop. I could move it. And I'm going to move this one down a little bit further. And I'm going to move this one up just a tick closer. And remember, once I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks down, my stop is going to jump here. So actually, I don't want to put this too close because we might get stopped out artificially, and we don't want that to happen. So let's see if we. Oh, you guys get the picture. I think you guys get it. So that's how you do it. Let me just clean this one trade up. I'm going to hit the close button again. Let me just clean this up. Again, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to edit my custom. I'm going to look at, there's my mistake, 10, 12. And I want this one to be, I don't know, we'll make it 16. We'll make it bigger, right? We'll make it bigger. Now, all these customs on stop strategy, I'm not going to change those. We'll leave those alone. And then we'll put it in there. I'll throw a limit order in. I'll chase it just to get filled. And there we go. 1, 2, 3 units. Stop is appropriate, right where I wanted it. And again, we're going to wait for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once we get down here, remember, I'm short. In futures trading, you can go short instead of go long if you think the market's going to go down. You don't have to wait for anything in particular to happen. So, if you're trading equities, you know what I mean. 58.25 is our target. And our stop is 62. Get stopped out. All 3 of the targets get canceled. We hit our first unit. This stop turns to a 2, and it's already trailed. That's how that works. All right, I think we ran through it all. Instead of just sitting here and watching and waiting in the middle of the day, it's kind of slow. I think you get it. If you have any further questions on this, feel free to follow up. Send an email to learn, Learn, at NinjaTrader.com. Learn at NinjaTrader.com. Just send an email and just say, hey, Jim, what about this? And then I'll get back to you for sure. And we can keep going on the NinjaTrader ATM, Automated Trade Management. And we're focusing on order cancels other, OCO with the trailing stop. All right, folks, appreciate you being here with me today. And remember, most important message, I wanted to remind you, please be safe out there, be good to each other. See you soon.